Howdy folks, and welcome back to War Thunder with the mighty Jingles. Yes, that's right, War Thunder. Who are you and what have you done with the real Jingles? Yes, go on, laugh it up, get it out of your system. You're not funny, you know. Um, it has been a while, and for that I can only apologise. I don't know if you War Thunder fans are necessarily going to agree that the wait has been worth it, but this is definitely a good game. And I hope you're going to enjoy it. This is Deus Air, and he is flying the legendary Hawker Sea Fury. It's a realistic battle. It's the British versus the Germans, and it's on the, I think this is the Sicily map if memory serves correctly. So, the Hawker Sea Fury. This is the part of the video where I waffle on about all the historical details of the aircraft. Well, normally that would be the case, but the action in this particular battle kicked off relatively soon. So, while Deus Air is trying to gain some altitude, we're just going to skip ahead a couple of minutes to when things really start to kick off. In fact, it didn't even take that long. It was only 45 seconds later when he spots a Focke-Wulf 190, I believe a D9, going for a friendly B-17 bomber. He's in the cloud cover, so the Focke-Wulf 190 probably can't see him coming. There's another Lancaster over there taking evasive action, and a second friendly fighter is vectoring to try to intercept this Focke-Wulf before he can swat that B-17 out of the sky. And there's a TA-152 down there as well. Now that is a very, very nasty aircraft, but most of the TA-152's advantages existed at high altitude. Deus Air opens up, hits and damages the engine of the D9, who goes into a dive with a Spitfire F Mark 24, I think, on his tail. And he's burning quite nicely. Here comes the TA-152, Deus Air's pulling it around for the head-on. No, not going to make it, instead goes evasive. Dodges the attack from the TA-152, who has problems of his own. He's been hit by a Tempest Mark 5. It's all going on up here. Meanwhile, the first Focke-Wulf 190 is still hard on the tail of that B-17, and Deus Air has a bit of a dirt moment here as he lodges on the tail of the TA-152 and rips his own flaps off, because he's just going too fast. Tempest slotting in on the tail of the TA-152, but it's Deus Air who claims the kill. I did say the action started pretty early on in this game, but don't worry, there'll be a break in a moment for us to talk about the design history of this beautiful aircraft. There you can see his port flap has been ripped right off. He's looking around for fresh victims, and well, that's not an ideal situation. A couple of enemy aircraft coming in, and they're all at higher altitude than him. There is a dogfight going on his port rear quarter over there between the BF-109 and that Tempest, and they've gotten into a head-on, and they've both basically set each other on fire, so oh dear. Deus Air, however, has other things to worry about. Enemy Focke-Wulf 190 setting up for a diving attack. Now, he is in a head-on, so he can do something about it, and he does in fact take him out with a pilot shot. Suffers some minor airframe damage in return, and then spots himself an ME-410 down low, going after the ground targets. Squeezes off a burst, takes out the ME-410. 3 kills. Looking around for another target. He's well ahead of everybody else here. Spots himself yet another ME-410. Swings it around. Sets himself up for a broadside attack. 410 sees him, tries to turn inside. No good. Takes him out. Beautiful kill. Now, I initially thought that that second smoke trail was yet another enemy aircraft falling out of the sky, but it isn't. It's a damaged BF-109. He's leaking coolant and oil, and he's managed to slot down on Deus Air's tail. But I'm pretty sure that the Hawker Sea Fury can easily outrun a BF-109, and so low on ammunition, that is exactly what Deus Air does, and he's easily able to open up the distance on that guy. That guy is not going to be able to really open his throttle up when he's leaking oil like that. His engine's going to overheat. Deus Air opens the distance, swings it around, and turns the tables on his pursuer, who goes into a dive trying to get down under his guns, but nope, sorry, not going to happen. Kill number 5. Deus Air is now low on 20mm cannon ammunition, and the sky appears to be relatively clear, at least in the immediate vicinity, of enemy aircraft. So he decides to head for home. And now that we've finally got some breathing space, we can actually talk about the design history and evolution of the Hawker Sea Fury. I first saw a Hawker Sea Fury in the flesh when I visited the Royal Naval Fleet Air Arm Museum at Royal Naval Air Station Yeovilton in Somerset last year. Which is a bit disappointing because I had actually served a term of service at Royal Naval Air Station Yeovilton in the mid-1990s when I was in the Royal Navy. and I never took the opportunity to visit the museum, to my eternal shame, and I cannot recommend that museum enough. It really is absolutely fantastic. If you're into aircraft, it's right up there in terms of just how great an experience the visit to the museum is. As a tank enthusiast going to the Bovington Tank Museum, it really is that good. The Hawker Sea Fury was a very, very good aircraft, but like other piston-engined aircraft developed after World War II, like the F-8F Bearcat for example, they never really managed to realise their full potential because, well, the future was jet aircraft. The first Sea Fury prototype flew on the 21st of February 1945. It was fitted with a Bristol Centaurus 12 engine, a 4-blade propeller and an arrestor hook, but it didn't have folding wings. The second prototype flew on the 12th of October 1945 and had a Bristol Centaurus 15 engine, 2,550 horsepower engine. It had improved shock mountings for carrier landings. It had a very distinctive 5-blade propeller, an arresting hook and hydraulically folding wings. A third prototype with a similar level of equipment was partially completed by Bolt and Paul and finished off by Hawker. The first production Sea Fury, designated FX for Fighter Mark 10, flew on the 7th of September 1946. There weren't that many changes from the first prototype, but it did have a longer arresting hook, and 50 of these Fighter Mark 10s were built, with introduction to Royal Navy Fleet Air Arm Service with number 802 Squadron in May 1948. Deyazer just coming in for a landing here, firing off his remaining 20mm cannon ammunition to try to slow his descent. Remember, he's lost the flaps on the port side, so he's having to control his descent with his rudder, which is kind of tricky. It's a bit of a rough landing. He's using the elevators there to try to keep the tail down, but he's going a little bit too fast and almost went airborne again, but he's managed to put it down, using the rudder to try to keep himself lined up. And yeah, that was a pretty good landing. You're not going to see any Jingles landings in this video, sorry. Deyazer's just too good. And there we go, there's that very distinctive 5-bladed rotol propeller that the production Sea Fury was fitted with. The Sea Fury Fighter Mark 10 retained the standard 420mm cannon armament of its predecessors. Interestingly, the cannon could actually be fired either in pairs or all four at the same time. It's not really clear what provisions the Fighter Mark 10 version of the Sea Fury had for bombs, rockets, external stores, but since the future of piston engine fighters in the air superiority role was looking increasingly dim, jets were the future after all, the design was tweaked for the fighter bomber role, and it became the Sea Fury Fighter Bomber Mark 11, or just the FB-11. It had additional armour and other protection, and could carry two 450 kilo or 1,000 pound bombs, napalm tanks, sonar buoys, rockets, and rocket-assisted takeoff boosters. It really was an outstanding aircraft. It was a very, very tough customer in the attack role, but with very light and responsive controls as well as excellent performance. It had a maximum loaded weight of 14,650 pounds, it had a maximum speed of 740 kilometers or 460 miles per hour. It could cruise at an altitude of 35,800 feet, and it had a maximum range without external drop tanks of 1,125 kilometers. We interrupt this technical and history lesson, however, just to get back to the action for a moment because, well, things are not looking too good at the moment. Deyazer only has, well, including himself, 2 aircraft left on his team. There's one other guy in a Spitfire F Mark 24, and, well, yeah, they're badly outnumbered. Not only that, and this is kind of controversial, one of the players on the enemy team has just activated the blind hunt order, and he's designated the unfortunate Spitfire as the target. What that means is every enemy aircraft, in fact every friendly aircraft as well, every aircraft on the map can now see the location of that guy in the Spitfire. He cannot hide. Everybody knows exactly where he is, and here they come. I say controversial because, well, the jury's out. Nobody wants to spend the last 15 minutes of a realistic battle on a map that covers 90 square kilometers just searching for the last enemy aircraft. At the same time, it's not exactly fair for the guy who is the last aircraft on the enemy team if everybody knows where he is, and, well, yeah, he's in this kind of situation. He's being dived on by a Focke-Wulf 190. Deyazer's coming over to try to help, and yeah, unfortunately, no. But remember, it's not just the Focke-Wulf 190. They're all coming for him, and Deyazer is now the last pilot left on his team, and he's being swarmed by 3 enemy fighters. The Focke-Wulf 190 is overshot. Here comes another Focke-Wulf 190 D9. Nope, Jinx avoids, minor damage taken, and here comes a BF-109 as well. The only spot of good news here, as he avoids the fire from the BF-109, is that he is fighting over the friendly airfield, so these guys have to worry about flak as well. And in fact, some of them are going to break off to do strafing runs on the anti-aircraft gun positions. In fact, 2 of them are going to do that. Now, one of the Focke-Wulf 190 D9s has been hit by flak. If you look straight behind Deyazer there, you can see a smoke trail. That's one of the D9s who is pursuing him. In fact, Deyazer's getting a bit cocky here. He's activated his wingtip smoke. He's like, here I am, come and get me. There he is. That guy has been crippled. Deyazer's just gained some altitude. That guy is not climbing up to meet him, and it's at more or less this point when Deyazer realises that this guy is actually trying to put the aircraft down. So, okay, while the other 2 are concentrating on trying to take out anti-aircraft guns, this is his perfect opportunity to try to even the scores up a little. There he is. And you see, his landing gear's down. So he thinks, alright, let's knock this guy out. Kill's a kill after all, and this is going to be an easy kill. Get him before his wingmen turn up, and there he goes. He's got him. Now, where are the other 2? There's the BF-109K. Here he comes. No, avoid his fire, avoid his fire. Oh, he's hit. He is hit. He's trailing smoke. He's leaking oil. Avoids the Focke-Wulf 190. Heads back for the cover of the anti-aircraft guns around his airfield. Where are they going? What are those 2 going to do? Are they going to come back and try to finish him off? Doesn't look like they are. Perhaps they're out of ammunition. Or perhaps they just don't feel like getting hit by those anti-aircraft guns again. In either case, Deyazer has earned himself some breathing space. So while he's taken advantage of that and putting this aircraft down for a second time in order to replenish his ammunition, let's get back to the history of the Hawker Sea Fury. We were talking about the performance of the aircraft, and in fact a Sea Fury ferried by pilot Neville Duke from London to Karachi, Pakistan in 1949 set a speed record during the London to Rome leg of the trip, covering 1,448 kilometres in 2 hours 31 minutes 51 seconds, which was an average speed of 574.3 kilometres per hour. A total of 615 fighter bomber Mark 11 Sea Furies were built. Some were supplied to Australia and Canada. The Sea Fury was roughly comparable to the US Navy's Grumman F-8F Bearcat piston-engine fighter. The Bearcat was more manoeuvrable and had a better rate of climb, but the Sea Fury was faster, it operated better under instrument flying conditions, and it was a more accurate weapons delivery platform. The Fury proved itself a very capable warrior in Korea, arriving in Korean waters with No. 807 Squadron on board the carrier HMS Theseus in October 1950. They were later joined by more Sea Furies on the Royal Navy carriers Ocean and Glory and the Royal Australian Navy carrier HMAS Sydney. The Sea Fury performed airstrikes with just about any ordnance it could carry, including sea mines. Weapons delivery was extremely accurate for the days of unguided weapons, and one Sea Fury even shot down a MiG-15. On the 9th of August 1952, a flight of 4 FB-11s from HMS Ocean was on a train-busting mission when they were jumped outnumbered 2-1 by 8 MiG-15s. The MiG pilots decided to get into a turning fight with the Sea Furies, and a Sea Fury piloted by Lieutenant Peter Carmichael managed to get on the tail of a MiG and wreck it with his 420mm cannon. 2 other MiGs were also damaged. All 4 of the Sea Furies returned safely. Some sources do claim that one of the 2 damaged MiG-15s failed to return to base, and therefore counted as a second MiG-15 shot down by a Sea Fury, but nobody's actually been able to substantiate this claim. Nevertheless, this was the only confirmed air-to-air victory by a British pilot in a British aircraft during the whole Korean War, which, when you consider the circumstances in which the Sea Furies were employed, close air support and ground attack, isn't exactly surprising. Several Sea Furies were actually lost to enemy fighters in return, however, but the Sea Fury remained the foremost Fleet Air Arm single-seat fighter until it began to be replaced by the Hawker Seahawk in 1953. So, why were the Royal Navy using piston-engined aircraft like the Sea Fury when the Royal Air Force were scrambling to convert as many of their squadrons to jet fighters as they possibly could as quickly as they could? And the answer, of course, always boils down to money. Britain was completely broke, absolutely on the bones of her arse at the end of World War II, and just about the only growth industry in Britain was the aeronautical industry. Britain led the world in the design and development of jet aircraft in the 1950s. Unfortunately, it's not quite as simple as just equipping your squadrons with jet aircraft if you're intending to operate them off aircraft carriers. It's relatively easy for the Air Force. An airfield is an airfield at the end of the day and doesn't require any special modification in order to operate jet fighters. It's not quite that simple on an aircraft carrier. The Navy was obviously interested in jet aircraft, but first they were going to have to convert their existing aircraft carriers and redesign upcoming aircraft carriers in order to operate jet aircraft, and that was considerably more expensive than just ordering a bunch of jets. So aircraft like the Hawker Sea Fury continued in service for quite some time with the Fleet Air Arm. And the Sea Fury wasn't just popular with the Royal Navy. The Royal Netherlands Navy also flew the Sea Fury. Hawker built 10 Mark 50s for the Dutch, followed by 12 Mark 51s, and then Fokker built 210 Mark 51s under license. Although the Royal Air Force never flew the Fury operationally, the Sea Fury was modified slightly for land-based operation and then sold to Iraq and Pakistan. Iraq obtained 30 Furies and Pakistan obtained 93, with 5 of the Pakistani order being converted Royal Navy FB-11s. Other customers included Egypt, West Germany, Burma and Cuba. And it was in Cuban service where the Sea Fury fired its last shots in anger, fighting off the CIA-sponsored Bay of Pigs invasion in 1959. The transport ship Houston was attacked by Sea Furies, piloted by Major Enrique Carreras Rojas and Captain Gustavo Borzak. The Houston was damaged by rockets and cannons, caught fire and was abandoned. Major Rojas would later go on to shoot down one of 2 B-26 Invaders piloted by CIA pilots, which were lost during the course of the aborted invasion. The Fleet Air Arm retired their Sea Furies from operational service in 1953, followed by the Royal Naval Volunteer Reserve retiring theirs in 1955, the Royal Canadian Navy in 1956, the Royal Netherlands Navy in 1957, but the Burmese Air Force held on to theirs until 1968. These days, just about the only place you can see a Sea Fury outside of a museum is in air racing. The 1999 Reno Air Races in Nevada, for example, featured 8 Sea Furies among the competitors. However, back to the battle. Still got those 2 enemy aircraft left for Deas Air to find and shoot down. Oh, he's just spotted one of them. Well, that was good timing. It's the Focke-Wulf 190. He's got the height advantage over him. It's not immediately clear at this point whether or not that Focke-Wulf 190 knows where Deas Air is. He was in the cloud cover there, but it's best not to take any chances. Assume he's seen you coming unless proven otherwise. But where is the BF 109? He's looking around. We didn't see anybody on the landing strip. Oh, there he is. He spotted him. He sets up for an approach on the BF 109, but the Focke-Wulf 190 was waiting for exactly this, and this is not a great approach on the BF 109, who manages to escape unscathed. And while he was doing that, here comes the Focke-Wulf 190. Wasted no time whatsoever. Deas Air avoids the head-on. The Focke-Wulf 190 picked up a lot of speed in the dive. Deas Air, on the other hand, he's kind of low on speed, although he does have the altitude advantage, and the Focke-Wulf 190 is... he's climbing, but he's still maintaining a good rate of speed as well. He's in a relatively shallow climb. Deas Air obviously still having the altitude advantage, but he's lost sight of the BF 109, and now the flak's coming up to meet him, and this is... well, it's not the worst situation he could be in. He's lost sight of the BF 109. Who's down there somewhere, almost certainly at a lower altitude. He's got the altitude advantage over the Focke-Wulf 190, but he is still outnumbered 2-1, and he's got anti-aircraft guns shooting at him as well. So he's maintaining that altitude advantage because altitude is energy in the bank. You can oh, there's the BF 109. Okay, with the Focke-Wulf 190 out of the fight for the moment, too far away to intercept. Oh, what a shot! Looked like the BF 109 was trying to sneak in underneath him and then rise up for a belly shot, but he saw him just in time. The BF 109 realised he'd been made. He tried to turn inside his guns, but no. Deas Air is a very, very good shot in this aircraft. So now it's one-on-one, mano a mano. Hawker Sea Fury versus Focke-Wulf 190 D9. Some sources will actually try to tell you that the Sea Fury was based on the Focke-Wulf 190. Oh, and there he is, he spotted him. This is complete bollocks. The Sea Fury was well in development. Well, the Fury was well in development, upon which the Sea Fury was based long before the Royal Air Force got their hands on their first captured Focke-Wulf 190. Just about the only two things that these two aircraft share in common is their engine mounting. Other than that, they're completely different aircraft. And it looks like Deus Air is, well, he's either getting very cocky, which is possible, or he just wants to bring this fight to as rapid a conclusion as possible. He's turned his wingtip smoke on again. He's like, oh, hello! You, I'm over here. Come and get me if you think you're hard enough. It doesn't look like the Focke-Wulf wants to play. He's maintaining the distance. Well, he's trying to. Unfortunately for him, the Sea Fury is substantially faster than the Focke-Wulf 190 D9. Just as a side note here, by the way, regarding the Focke-Wulf 190 D9, it was deemed an interim solution by its legendary designer, Kurt Tank, prior to the introduction of his masterpiece design, the TA152. Luftwaffe pilots believed that they were going to get an indifferent and clumsy lash-up of an aircraft in the D9, but once they got their hands on it, they found that it was a superb aircraft. Tank was just being fussy. Oh, and here it comes. No, head on, fool's game, avoids the attack. What's he going to do now? 190's braking. He's using that speed to separate and open the distance. It looks like... This is the problem. I mean, Deus Air, he's kind of low on speed again. He does have a more powerful and heavier and faster aircraft, so he can catch that Focke-Wulf 190 if he keeps trying to run away. But what it means is he's basically going to force the Focke-Wulf 190 to keep turning around and engaging in head-on passes, and Deus Air doesn't really like head-on passes, and so he shouldn't. Oop, flak's coming up to get him again. Because head-on passes are a mug's game. One of you is almost certainly going to die, and there's a fairly good chance that both of you are going to die. He's managed to avoid every head-on pass that anybody's tried to initiate with him so far, although several of the people that have tried to engage him in head-on passes, thanks to his superior gunnery, have come off second best. But he'd clearly like to get the positional advantage over this guy. Now he's in level flight. He's actually able to... Well, he's not building up that much speed. He's in a shallow climb. He's trying to... He's going for the energy advantage, because it's always better to have the energy advantage. But the Focke-Wulf 190 has a superb rate of climb, and while it is slower than the Sea Fury, it's not that much slower. So now he's trying to build up the speed again. And this is where the much more powerful Sea Fury is really... Look at the rate of closure. Look at that. He's catching him. He's totally catching him. The Focke-Wulf 190 tried to... He does have the superior rate of climb, so that's what he tried to do, but that meant he was substantially slower than the Sea Fury. And now he's in shooting range, and he's scoring hits. And yet, he's got him. It's all over. That's his 8th and final kill in realistic battle in the Hawker Sea Fury FB-11. What an amazing aircraft, and what an exceptionally good replay from Deus Air. 8 player kills, none of them AI. There are still a couple of AI targets flying around here, but yeah. I think we're done for the day. The Hawker Sea Fury, flown by Deus Air in a realistic battle against the Luftwaffe here on the Sicily map in War Thunder. I hope you enjoyed today's video, folks. As always, take care, and I'll catch you next time.